Okay, that's beautiful music. The consequences of breaking the heart on the Arts House on Cork's 96 FM and C103. Beautiful music by ADT. And that is part of a collaboration on a new multidisciplinary project of film and music between West Cork singer-songwriter ADT, or Alan Tobin, as we'll refer to him in the interview, and County Kerry filmmaker and writer Shaun O'Connor. Lads, a very good morning to you both, and you're very welcome to the Arts House.
Morning, Pearse. Thanks for having us on.
How are you? How's it going? Beautiful track, Alan. Beautiful track. I'm very interested. How did this collaboration happen?
Well, I suppose I've known Shaun for a few years, firstly in college back in the day, and I suppose I am part of a band called Low Mountain, and it was just before my 40th birthday party. My birthday party, I didn't even have a party. I decided to record some solo stuff, which consisted of 3 tracks. Then that grew into an album, and I wanted to write music. I suppose I had kind of full control over it, so I wanted to write music for film, really, in a sense, or I always had, it's very imagery based, and there's a lot of soundscapes. And
you're very drawn to the sea, aren't you? You got an awful lot of your ideas and from the likes of the sea and lighthouses and stuff like that, don't you?
I am. I grew up in Ardfield, just under the Gallyhead Lighthouse, so I'm hugely influenced by the sea. So yeah, I recorded the album, released it, and I've known Shaun for years, and then Shaun got in touch with me. So he had an idea.
Do you want to take it up, Shaun? Your idea?
Sure, yeah. So I've been working in film for over 10 years now, and I had done a couple of projects with a writer named Paul Cahill, who's from just outside Mallow, and we had done a short film a couple of years ago called A White Horse that did very well in the festival circuit, won a couple of awards. And Paul had another idea for a short film called Muirin, about a couple and the wife basically disappears into the ocean and becomes a supernatural figure. So it's very much kind of like in root in like art and Irish mythology and such. So it was a lovely idea. We didn't get the chance to make it, unfortunately, because of, applying for different funding things, and then COVID happened and all the rest of it. But when I heard Al's track, it was so perfectly suited to the story that it was uncanny, like genuinely so. As in the final minute of the song is this beautiful kind of violin fiddle piece, like, which is what happens at the end of the short script. So when I heard it, and I said it to my producer, I said it to Paul, the writer, and I said to Al, I was like, I basically pitched it to him, and I said, okay, how about a music video that's kind of half music video, half short film? But if we're going to do it, we'll do it. We'll go for telling a full, proper story in this multidisciplinary project.
That must have been that moment when you heard that song, and you have this script written, and you have this idea, and you have this project that you want to make, but then you hear this song, and it just pings that, hang on, this is like a hand fitting a glove. And the fact that you knew each other as well.
Yeah, for sure. And so when I went back to Paul, the writer, and I said, like, I think he was probably initially a bit skeptical because you're saying, okay, we're going to basically take your script, take all the dialogue out of it and cut it to a piece of music. And I think he was a bit, I'm not sure about that. And then I played him the song, and he was like, all right, okay, this is actually perfect. So I worked with Paul to take all the dialogue out of the story and just tell it visually, because obviously there's going to be no dialogue. We don't be kind of cutting across Al's music. So we just restructured the video to be told visually, just kind of pure cinema, and hopefully that's what we've achieved. But also using the power of Al's music and specific lyrics, finding those beats in the edit and in the shoot to have the music and film complement each other as best as possible.
What was that like for you, Al, for that to happen? I mean, he quite literally tore the script up, and your words became the script.
Yeah, it was so strange, because like when Shaun had kind of mentioned it to me, and then he sent me the script, and I read the script again. It was that ping moment, going like, this is just so strange that two different mediums have collided and married together so perfectly. So it was a no-brainer really for me. It was just like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And especially working with Shaun, we'd spoken a few times through different meetings, through gatherings and nights out and stuff like that, about working together and wanting to work together. And this was just the perfect perfect time to start that anyway, you know.
You've just alluded to there, this was the perfect time to start working together. So does this mean this is to be continued?
I'm up for it if you
yeah.
are.
Yeah, of course, because you know, there's so much, like I've got so much music from you know, back, I suppose, through the years, and I'm working on new music, and it'll just be, again, it's not a case of I have this piece of music and I'll give it to Shaun and he's going to do great work with it. It's more like, let's see, yeah, let's wait till that time hits again.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not saying that we're going to work together straight away, like next year or anything, but no doubt we will work together again.
The magic is obviously there. I mean, it's film marinated with music, and you've made the connection on that level. I mean, you already had the connection as friends, but you've made that connection, so it'll come around again.
Oh yes, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, I think so. And also it's probably worth mentioning that we had initially developed the project right before COVID happened.
Okay.
So, and then it became, obviously, it had to go on the back burner until we were able to actually shoot it and edit it and put it together in the last couple of months.
That must have been frustrating, Shaun, was it, for you guys? You know, you were ready to go, you're gung-ho gusto, and then the world shuts down.
Yeah, it's true. And, you know, it was interesting that, like, if you're working on a very big production, you're going to have, like, COVID officers and people getting tested multiple times a week, and things were still happening. And then if you're working on a project that's like one person or two people, you could maybe still get away with it if you're being very, very safe. But for our scale of project, where there's like 15, maybe 20 people working on it,
big.
It was just impossible. It was impossible to do safely until the last couple of months, like, you know. But interestingly, I think that, like, the themes that are in the video and they're in the song, to my ears anyway, they're about the importance of art in times of struggle and in times of darkness, like, which, if anything, I kind of felt became more pertinent in the time that we were sitting on it for a year and a half, you know?
Yeah. Isn't that the wonder, though, of music and movies? Not only can you get lost and immersed in it, but there's a sense of healing as well with words and visual.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Like, I suppose from a musician's point of view, you're always, well, from my point of view, I'm always visualizing the story of every song. And especially working with Justin Grounds, who's the producer of the album, like, he's a multi-instrumental genius. So literally, like, I can't read music or write music, so I would vocally express what I want, you know, melody-wise, and then he'd create, you know, lovely soundscapes. And like, we did a lot of, like, definitely wanted a lot of field recordings, so that when you're listening to the music, especially the start to music, like, there's a printing press, there's the sea, there's, you know, the birds during lockdown, there's certain elements that definitely, when I listen to it, and it's an album that I do listen to now and again, it just takes me back to that place or that time when I was recording it or writing the music at the time, you know. So, and then obviously with the movie or with the short film, you know, it just takes it to another level then, you know. And like, Shaun did a superb job, you know, like, it's just beyond, because I was there on the shoot, like, there was about 3 days of shooting, so I kind of, obviously I'd read the script and I knew kind of what was going on. I've done a few short films myself, but I didn't know, especially, you know, once obviously Shaun gets into the editing studio and what will come out of it. But like, when he showed it to me, you know, I know, was it about 2 months ago now, and he definitely wanted me to be in the room, because I said to send me on a link so I could watch it myself. But I think he wanted me to be in the room with him while I watched it the first time, and literally, like, there was tears in my eyes, in a sense, like, you know,
of course,
it's very emotional.
Because, I mean, you said yourself that when you write songs, you kind of visualize the story of it. And here's this man who then had this story that was going to marry with what you had written. And I assume it's safe to say he got what you had in that vision.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
How was that, Shaun, for you? How good for the cockles of your heart was something like that?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's very gratifying, because, I mean, like, you know, so oftentimes with music videos, you're getting kind of performance stuff, and you're just kind of getting like beauty shots or whatever, like, and you are just kind of presenting the artist as a product, you know, which is fine. That's you know, there's a lot of value in that.
Absolutely.
But when you're doing something in which, like, Al basically doesn't appear in the video in person, you know, or at least in the background, there is the risk of saying, okay, but this is going to be primarily a storytelling venture that's kind of going to present the song rather than the physical presence of the artist, you know. And there's a bit more trust required in it than if it's just like doing a live performance. But thankfully, Al trusted us and hopefully it came off. I should also mention our producer, Sinead Barry, who's from Tort Douglas, who is absolutely brilliant and produced my last short film as well. Our cinematographer, Jas Foley, who did an absolutely amazing job. And we had a great small team just working really hard for a couple of days out in West Cork, you know.
There's also Sub Relic Remix. There's some guys got involved with you as well.
That's right. There's two producers from Cork, Duncan Lutz and Dennis Clifford. They go under the moniker Sub Relic. Again, I've known Duncan for years. Once the album was finished, I love the way someone could just take your music and reinvent it. Like the EP is called Repurposed. So it's literally, I gave them 3 tracks, gave them access to all the stems, which is all the different, you know, guitars and drums and all that. I didn't even give them a guideline, gave them nothing. I said, look, you go, do what you want. And again, they came back with really cool cinematic, you know, remixes, which is exactly what was in my head in a sense as well, you know.
Yeah. It seems like everybody involved in this project, it just connected.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's all about, really?
It's timing. Like if I was searching for like really, really wanting, you know, searching and looking, it's just when your paths cross.
Yeah.
It's just the stars aligned in a sense, you know.
Yeah. No.
So
I mean, it sounds romantic, but it's true too. So romance is alive and well in the 21st century.
Romance, okay.
Yeah.
You had the launch of this in Connolly's of Lepp. How did that go?
Yeah, it was great night. We
Yeah,
just got in there before kind of full restrictions. It was just about a week before things got a little bit hairy again. So there was there was a nice crowd, a very appreciative crowd, and it was really done. And Sam and Eileen and Connolly's were superb, just accommodating us. And because it was a multimedia kind of event where there was a screen and projector, and the guys Sub Relic had all their equipment, but they accommodated us perfectly. You know, it was great.
Unreal. Now, if any of the listeners that are listening this morning want to check it out, where can they go and check it out?
Go onto YouTube and type in ADT, The Consequences of Breaking the Heart, and you'll be able to watch the film straight away.
Okay.
Fingers crossed, as the film festival circuit kicks off then in the new year, we'll have some screenings on bigger screens. But yeah, we'll see. But you can go and watch it online right now.
But it's obviously something for the bigger screen, though.
Well, this is it. Like even seeing us in Connolly's, where the guys had a decent projector and a decent screen. I mean, it was great seeing Al playing with the guys, and also as a filmmaker, it's a never-ending joy to see your stuff projected on a screen of any size with people, with an audience, which obviously hadn't happened in a long time, you know, since COVID. A lot of the film festivals have moved online and have done fantastic jobs, and they've survived COVID and all the rest of it. But even being in a bar in West Cork, watching a 5-minute thing with like maybe 15 people in the room was just worth its weight in gold. So fingers crossed in the new year we get to see us on some bigger screens as well.
Brilliant, lads. The very best of luck going forward with this. And I just want to wish you both a happy Christmas and hope that 2022 is a good year for you both.
Likewise, Pearse. Thanks for having us.